As natural disasters and extreme weather events continue to devastate American communities, scammers and insurance companies are taking advantage of vulnerable homeowners. Reports say at least 5 U.S. property insurance companies, including Allstate and Nationwide, are dropping coverage for weather-related events while hiking up the price for premiums and deductibles. Kevin Johnson is president and CEO of Suncoast Credit Union, the largest credit union in Florida. He joins us to talk about the tactics scammers use to lure people in and how to deal with losing insurance coverage. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Kevin. I'm just going to show my bias here and just tell you straight up, I think that those who take advantage of those who have been victimized because of some natural disaster are literally the lowest of the low. But Kevin, it's scary to lose insurance. What do homeowners need to do if this happens to them?
Yeah, it's becoming a problem. And some of the advice that we would give to homeowners out there is to look at how ways they can harden their homes. Insurance companies are taking big losses on these storms. They're becoming more prevalent. They're causing more damage. It's causing more collateral damage. And they're looking at ways that they can stay solvent. And some ways that can happen is if these homes are more hardened to be able to withstand some of these storms. And we really encourage government to get involved to incentivize homeowners to do this so that the insurance companies will not incur as many losses and will continue to offer coverage to these homeowners.
Hey, insurance companies aren't offering coverage because they're losing money on it. Totally got that part. Kevin, let me ask you this. What is the onus on maybe the government or homeowners to then not be able to either rebuild in those areas or because clearly the penalty is now you're not able to insure your home. But this continues to also be a burden on taxpayers.
It does, and there's no easy solution to this. We would recommend just to be vocal with your lawmakers. We have to find a mutual beneficial solution for both the consumer and the homeowners, as well as the insurance companies. And it's going to require all of us to come together, working with government to come up with solutions, as I described, to maybe provide some incentives out there and premium discounts for those that do take action to be able to harden their homes or build new homes that can withstand these storms a little bit better.
And Kevin, I have about a minute left. Scammers are pouncing on homeowners left and right after hurricane events and fires and flash flooding and things like that. What are some warning flags that homeowners should be aware of to maybe be alert for a scam?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, some of the red flags that we see are, door-to-door fake repair technicians trying to seize on the emotions of people that have just experienced a natural disaster, asking for immediate payment. We would encourage to do your research on these people before you provide any money. Never pay in cash. Read the contract, ask for their licenses to make sure they're legitimate. I would strongly encourage not to take action when you receive these solicitations. Follow up, do your research online to make sure that these companies that these individuals are representing are legitimate before you take action. Get multiple bids on repair services. These are all good practices to follow to not fall for scams. And
Kevin, I need to wrap, but where can people learn more if they want to try to find homeowners insurance after they've been dropped by some of the big companies?
There's a lot of resources online. I would just encourage them to go online, and FEMA might have some resources to look for. In Florida, there's a citizens option that's last resort for people that can't find insurance.
Kevin Johnson, thank you so much for joining us on this Labor Day holiday. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.